friend is back in St. Louis, and that's Ryan Ludwig. He'll bat fifth tonight for the San Diego Padres. Part of that deal was Jake Westbrook, and Westbrook gets the start tonight for St. Louis. We're at Busch Stadium, and tonight it's game one of a four-game series. The first two games on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. And with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals Baseball. San Diego, we were wondering if this team was for real. Well, they've got 82 wins, a couple of weeks to go, and all of a sudden they're talking about postseason play.
They're still in first place. They had a 10-game losing streak, but they did not lose the lead, and they just took 2 out of 3 against the hot Colorado Rockies.
Well, we've talked an awful lot about the deal. Two principal members in this deal were Ryan Ludwig and Jake Westbrook, and how would you size up this trade?
Well, you asked me the first day that it was made. I said I did not like it. Ludwig maybe has not hit as well as you would think. San Diego is very happy with him. He's had a lot of really good games. Jake Westbrook has been as advertised. He's pitched very well. He's got ground balls. But because you take Ludwig out of the equation, not enough offense. Only one win for the Cardinals and Westbrook in those starts where he's done 7 out of 8. Now, the Cardinals, or the San Diego Padres, said that Ludwig has really helped them out, particularly against left-handed pitching. Numbers aren't great, but they said he's come up with some big hits, and psychologically, most managers, or all managers, fear him in that lineup.
What do you think it's going to be like for Ludwig back in St. Louis tonight?
I went down and talked to him. He has a big smile on his face. I think he's... I'm sure he's questioning what the reception will be, and I think we'll all be shocked if it's not extremely favorable.
So it's Westbrook getting to start for St. Louis. The Cardinals, one way or another, Al, after being swept by Chicago, bottom line, they need a win tonight.
They need a win. I mean, they can't worry about where they are in the standings. Just start winning as many games as possible. Right now, they got to avoid falling under 500.
When we come back, we'll talk about postseason history for San Diego. Adrian Gonzalez and the Padres in town, first of 4 tonight. Baseball is coming up. clinging to first place in the National League West Division. Their record stands at 82-63. Half game in front of San Francisco, 2.5 in front of Colorado. Another all-important series for them starting tonight. A look at their playoff history. Back in 1984, 15 years in the league, the Padres finally made their first playoff appearance, but Sparky Anderson's Tigers would win the World Series 4-1. 1996, San Diego, their second trip to the playoffs, short-lived, swept in the first round by the Cardinals, who were playing in their first year under manager Tony La Russa. 1998, 2 years later, Padres went back to the World Series, swept by a Yankees team that won 114 regular season games, a team that many consider the greatest team of all time. In 2005, the Cardinals won 100 games and won the NL Central. The Padres only needed 82 wins to win the West. Wouldn't matter. St. Louis made short work of San Diego. Third time wasn't a charm for San Diego. Another run-in with the Cardinals, another early exit from the postseason. Cardinals would beat the Padres 3-1 en route to their 10th World Series championship. Adrian Gonzalez, outstanding first baseman, hoping to change their fortunes in 2010. A weekend at Mizzou. We'll tell you about that when we come back. Home runs coming into action tonight. Game 1 of a 4-game series, the Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll be busy this weekend at Fox Sports Midwest. Looking forward to this. Mizzou takes on San Diego State, and many video providers in our Cardinals viewing area will offer this game on pay-per-view for $39.95. Access your digital program guide or call your video provider to order the game today, or visit foxsportsmidwest.com for details. Tigers look to go to 3-0, and they'll take on San Diego State at 6 o'clock this Saturday night. Heath Bell, the all-star closer, signing autographs and making new friends here at the ballpark. We're edging closer to our first pitch. Padres and Cardinals coming up. Expected tonight, the Padres make their way to take on Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals. Former World Series MVP David Eckstein in town. Two of the young faces in the lineup tonight, Colby Rasmus and John Jay. Baseball is coming up. By Steak and Shake, life meets flavor. And by Chevy's Expert Auto Service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at sdlchevy.com. Jake Westbrook on a gorgeous night here in downtown St. Louis, looking for win number 2 as a Cardinal. 1-3 so far, 3.78 ERA. And that record not indicative of just how well he has pitched at times, wearing the birds on the bat. A look at the Padres batting order. Aaron Cunningham, their left fielder, followed by David Eckstein and Miguel Tejada. Adrian Gonzalez, Ryan Ludwig, Chase Headley, Yorvi Torrealba, Will Venable, and Tim Stauffer. Marshall Wireless Sprint starter Jake Westbrook making his 30th start of the year, combined with Cleveland and now St. Louis.
9th start with St. Louis. Of his previous 8, 7 have been quality starts. As you said, he's pitched very well, but only 1 victory. And the Cardinals have only won 2 of his previous 8 starts. As he's doing the job, but just not enough offense to get him off the hook.
And you wonder about the response that Ryan Ludwig will get tonight. He was introduced by John Hewlett, PA man here at the ballpark, and received a very nice ovation. He'll bat 5th in their lineup. Holiday, Rasmus, and Jay in the outfield. Green, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery is Westbrook and Yadier Molina. That's presented by Dobbs. So Tyler Green out getting the start at third base.
Well, I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more. Why not see the Cardinal youngsters as Tony La Russa trying to find that combination, but also trying to find out something about Tyler. It's really, a former #1 draft pick. Time to find out if he's part of next year's equation.
First pitch, he'll test Green. To his left, he was playing in. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Cunningham has done a nice job of his start, sitting over 330, but the one real key about Westbrook is, will he get ground balls? When he gets his ground ball outs, he's on.
Nice round of applause again for David Eckstein. Fans remember his 3 years here in town. Highlighted by the MVP award that he took home, 2006 World Series. It's 69 degrees, our game time temperature. Mike Shannon was on the pregame, Al, talking about David Eckstein. He said this guy is overachieved, but yet he is a winner. And he's been on 2 World Series teams and a team now that looks like they're headed to postseason play.
And a big part of their leadership for San Diego. You can't say enough about David. You pull for him, and as you said, if you took that name off the front of his chest, the one word we'd put on there is winner.
And tonight's game, the first of 11 for the Padres against the NL Central that they have over their final 17 ball games. Here's Miguel Tejada. He's talked that the Cardinals had interest in Tejada to play third base, but he's been playing shortstop for San Diego, and they tell us that he looks like the Tejada of 10 years ago. Here's another ground ball. Green busy here in the first. Throws on the run. Good start for Westbrook. Boy, that's quick work. No score. Quick inning for Westbrook as we move to the bottom of the first. Cardinals lineup: Skip Schumacher, John Jay, and Albert Pujols. Then Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus, Yadier Molina, Brendan Ryan, Jake Westbrook, pitcher batting 8th again, and Tyler Green will bat 9th. Cardinals face a right-hander, Tim Stauffer, and he's been very good. Limited time, 1.54 ERA, and I say limited time, that means big league time.
Yeah, and here's a kid you want to really pull for. You know, he was a former #1 draft pick, 4th pick overall back in 2003. When they were negotiating with him right after he signed, they came in offering him initially $2 million. And he said no, but for a reason you won't believe. He's going, I've got to be honest with you, my shoulder's bad. End up signing for $700,000. Came to the Padres and was honest with them and said, I cannot take that amount of money. He did pitch a couple years. He missed the entire 2008 season with shoulder surgery. And now he's finally, it takes about 2 years to really recover. Now all of a sudden he's got so much better stuff. He's throwing 95 and really pitching well.
Well, you never hear that in professional sports, much less business or anything else. Good for him.
So you got to pull for a kid like that just with his honesty.
Here's a ground ball to first. Adrian Gonzalez takes it himself for the first out. Schumacher retired. And let's take a look at the defense behind the right-hander tonight. Around the horn, brought to you by Dobbs. Cunningham, Venable, and Ludwig in the outfield. Headley, Tejada, Eckstein, Gonzalez along the infield. And our battery tonight, Tim Stauffer and Yorby Torrealba. Ryan Ludwig. Numbers haven't been all that great, but they say he's starting to get hot.
They've said that once the training deadline, you remember they had a pretty anemic offense. And when they got Tejada and they got Ludwig, it really changed the complexion, gave that protection in front and behind. You know, Gonzalez, who was an outstanding hitter, and it really solidified them against left-handed pitching. It's really helped their cause. And yeah, his numbers are down, but his presence is one that they really appreciate.
Just outside. And one of the reasons that the Cardinals felt they could make that deal has been the emergence of the man at the plate, John Jay.
Can't say enough about John Jay.
And Jay hits it out to right. Ludwig going back. He won't get it. Off the base of the wall. John Jay with a one-out double.
I was about to say, though, you know, you really lose an awful lot in the power department. Nice double there. John Jay Shulman looks like he's going to have, you know, extra base power, like doubles power, but he's not going to have the home run power that a Ryan Ludwig possesses. And we fully understand Jake Westbrook has pitched the way we expected, maybe even better than what we expected. But without Ludwig, you just don't have the protection behind Pujols and Holiday. And you don't have somebody that scares the opposing manager or pitchers.
The Cubs-Cardinals series saw the Redbirds go 2 for 24 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 10 last night. And the Cardinals ranked second in the National League in batting average, 273 in these spots. And third overall in the National League. The club is hitting 262. 61 games for Albert against San Diego. Great numbers. No surprise there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
To be honest, there's no real reason to pitch to Pujols and Holiday right now. You know, if you're a veteran, that you can go out there, you pitch to him with first base open, but it's also you're trying to get him to expand the zone. You'll take your chances.
Would it surprise you if I told you that in Pujols' 400-plus home runs, over 50% have been on the first pitch? It surprised me a little bit.
Yes, would.
Reading the recent article done on the cover story in Cardinals Game Day magazine, it mentioned he has had more home runs on the first pitch of an at-bat than in any part of his at-bats. Out to center, Venable under it. Keys to the game, and really this is the key for any team. You have to pitch, and these are 2 very good rotations. Lowest ERA among starters, and the Cardinals 3.56 and Padres 3.72. And you look at the Cardinals 3rd overall in hitting, then you see that ERA, and it makes you wonder why this team will not make it to postseason play.
Well, we know that this team was really clicking early in the season because of its starting pitching. Then when Penny and Loesch went out, you know, you really had a hard time, you know, bridging the gap. Sure, you had the big 3, and you wouldn't trade them for anything. But, you know, that was why you found the necessity to go out and trade for Westbrook and hoping you had enough offense.
Holiday up the middle for a base hit. Here comes John Jay. He will score a 2-out RBI for Holiday, number 95 this year. Stauffer tried to make a skate save with hockey right around the corner, but couldn't do it. Base hit for Holiday and an RBI.
Set up away, and this ball catches a little bit too much of the plate. Little hanging slider, hit right back up the middle. We talk about Holiday. He hits the ball so hard that many times he'll just drive that ground ball right through the infield. And John Jay, 2 outs, gets a good jump, comes on home to the first run.
Holiday at first with 2 outs, and here's Colby Rasmus. Just saw that shot of Chris Carpenter. He, along with Michael Young of the Rangers, elected to the Arizona Fall League Hall of Fame. Will be inducted on Tuesday, November 9th in Arizona. Here's a ground ball to the right side. X9 outfield grass to Gonzalez. Coming up this half inning, top of the second, Ludwig due up second. 1-0 after an inning of play. So with the win tonight, the Cardinals could be within 7 games. But running out of time as Adrian Gonzalez digs in for the first time tonight. Another great year for Gonzalez, hitting .308, 29 RBIs, and or rather 29 home runs and 95 RBIs. A total of 4 pitches by Westbrook in the top of the first.
Gonzalez, just a terrific player, great numbers. And prior to Tejada and Ludwig, you really didn't have to pitch to him.
They elected to pitch to Holiday, and they got burned with a base hit up the middle.
Westbrook has been outstanding, 6 for 6 in the strike department, and 3 ground balls already.
Changeup misses low and away. Even though the numbers, as I mentioned before, haven't been great, he's probably made himself a bunch of money with the way that he's pitched.
He's shown that he can get ground balls, and wow.
Strikeout, and here comes Ludwig.
Wow.
Batting fifth, number 47, right fielder, Ryan Ludwig.
Standing ovation for Ludwig. Many of the Cardinals in the dugout clapping along with the fans.
Fans never disappoint you, do they?
No, they don't. Not only was Ludwig a very good player, but well liked in the community among the fans. Breaks his bat, little floater out to second base, and the catch made by Schumacher.
I don't know about you, but the strikeout call on Gonzalez I thought was about 8 inches outside.
Ed Rapuano is our home plate umpire. Certainly looked wide to me. Here's Headley, who's a switch hitter, their third baseman.
It looked a lot worse than that one, and that one was called a ball. And that one was a better pitch. It was a good strike.
But like all good pitchers will do, they'll go right back to that spot.
Sure, you know, just pump pitches down in the zone. Get your ground balls. And he is on a mission. He's got a 9 o'clock dinner reservations.
Working very quickly. The 2-1 misses low and away. 3-1. Headley is hitting .263, 10 home runs, 54 RBIs.
And Westbrook did the right thing too. Now falling behind the count, take a little more time.
And a line drive base hit into left center. First hit allowed by Jake Westbrook.
Had to throw a strike, make him hit his way on, and he did so.
Brings in Torrealba. Torrealba hitting .281, 6 home runs and 34 RBIs. See Dave McKay along with Joe Patini positioning the defense. There was a great former catcher wearing a San Diego Padres uniform, Ted Simmons.
Talked to Teddy a little bit tonight, as well as Eckstein and Ludwig.
Simba.
Talked to Glenn Hoffman, Trevor Hoffman's older brother, and I said, talked to Trevor the next day after he got his 600 save. He said, "You called?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm not saying Milwaukee does a lot of things right, but they did it right that night for Trevor."
Sure did. Quick move by Westbrook. Ted Simmons, more RBIs than Johnny Bench. More runs than Carter. More hits than Berra or Fisk, and yet he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He's a better hitter than those guys. Johnny was a better defensive catcher. He had more power than Teddy. Teddy was he was a 25 home run guy, but was as prolific as a line drive hitter in the 70s as there was in the game. And I can tell you, for one, if I was pitching and the game was on the line, I wanted him catching because his bat was going to win the game for us.
Over 1,300 RBIs, 248 home runs. And a lifetime average of 285 for Ted Simmons.
Dan, look what Ted has done in the game now, too. I mean, he's been a tremendous player, a great pinch hitter at the end of his career. He's been a general manager. He's run a farm system.
And a ground ball off the glove of Green into left field. Headley on his way to third base. Torrealba reaches first and third with 2 outs.
San Diego Padres are built on pitching and defense. The Cardinals normally are too. But this has happened way too many times this year. The interior defense, the infield defense, is not played to its ability. An E5 there, the 6th error by Tyler Green, and he really has not played much at all.
We'll lead out to visit quickly. 8th place hitter is Venable. Then you have the pitcher on deck. Venable is hitting .225, 12 homers and 48 RBIs. That's something that certainly will need to be addressed this offseason, as the defense has not been the kind of defense that we've seen in years past, especially with a Dave Duncan pitching staff, which is
pitch to contact.
Yeah, and ground balls, sinkers, just hasn't been there.
Yeah, and we're not saying, because we know they have the ability. This team, and Tyler Green, is a defensive specialist. But, it's just something that they can do with better concentration or anticipation. Those should be routine plays.
One thing that we saw before the injury to David Freese was that he was playing third base fairly well.
Yes.
And
that's another aspect, because Tyler primarily has been a shortstop, signed as a shortstop out of Georgia Tech, former #1 draft pick. And David Freese appears to be a well above average defender.
And it appears that Westbrook was pitching around the 8th place hitter to bring up Stauffer. It also appears on your screen we'll give you a text poll presented by U.S. Cellular. What are you looking forward to most about next year's schedule? Opening day against these Padres. 3 weekend series at home against Chicago. Or the first trip ever to Camden Yards in Baltimore. Text 2011 A, B, or C to 432-432. First walk that was issued by Westbrook following the error by Tyler Green. Stauffer is hitting .182, no homers and a pair of RBIs. Bases loaded here in the top of the second. 2 balls and no strikes. And Jake wants a new baseball. Westbrook on the ear. was 6-7 with Cleveland, 1-3 with St. Louis. Really no big difference between righties and lefties. Lefties hitting .265, the righties .272. 2-1.
Well, he is a Dave Duncan wannabe, because of his ability to just throw the ground balls. It's exactly what Dave wants guys. Go out there, try to retire hitters in the first couple pitches. Don't wait around. He's probably struck out more than what we anticipated. And he's nearly a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
And he strikes out Stauffer after falling behind 2 balls and no strikes. Padres strand the bases loaded. Molina, Ryan, and Westbrook coming up. Busch Stadium. Read all about it at FoxSportsMidwest.com. FoxSportsMidwest.com, your source for Cardinals news. 1-0 St. Louis on the RBI by Holiday. Padres strand the bases loaded. It's a club that at one point was 27 games above 500. And the only other team to do that in Padres history was back in 1998. That year they won the National League, and then they were swept by the Yankees in the World Series. Old buddy Mark Sweeney was part of that team. First pitch to Yadier Molina is taken for a strike. Underway here in the bottom of the second. Molina reached base in all 4 plate appearances on Monday. A couple of singles, double, and walked.
.258 average, and he has picked up the pace in the second half.
And a ground ball hit to Eckstein for the first out. Miguel Tejada at shortstop for San Diego. Played in game number 2,000 of his career earlier this season. Only 17 active players have done that. And he also belted a home run last night. He's 2 shy of 300. We'll see how his range looks here with the Padres this weekend.
Well, they're in first place, and they're not complaining about his range for a team that prides itself in good defense.
Remember when David Eckstein left St. Louis, did not want to leave. One of the things that he said was he had no problem if the Cardinals would have shifted him to second base. That's where he's at now. He had been a second baseman coming up. College at the University of Florida, also in the minor leagues. And then once he got to Anaheim, that's when they shifted him to shortstop.
there was some miscommunication, and I want to say it was, in contract times, but David and John Mozeliak got together after that deal, sorted it all out.
It's a line shot foul.
On the same page, but it sure was fun watching a guy like David Eckstein play. If you graded him out, you kind of put at best average in a lot of categories. Many times would be below average, but as we said, you just put winner on his chest.
2-2, chopped up the middle. Tejada to his left. 2 outs. Taking a game from some of Busch Stadium's most popular seats in the final homestand and this weekend. It's the all-inclusive areas. Get a great view of the game, plus all of your food and drinks included for one great price. Get your all-inclusive tickets at Cardinals.com. Cardinals will be just about right where they were a year ago, and getting close to 3.4 million tickets sold. It's another big crowd here tonight, too. Slowly hit. Third baseman wants it. He has it. And the Cardinals go 1-2-3. We head to the third, and Jim Hayes is coming up. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Jack in the Box right now. Go to Jack in the Box to try Jack's new pastrami grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. Jim Hayes has joined us here in the booth. Third inning rolls in at Busch Stadium. 1-0 Cardinals here in the top of the third. Big news, obviously, the return of Ryan Ludwig to St. Louis.
Yeah, he was very excited prior to the ball game when we sat down with him. I said, is this a game you've kind of been anticipating? And he said, honestly, yes, actually, from the moment he left. And I asked him about the transition from St. Louis to San Diego, and he said it's been difficult. He got off to a pretty good start. He says the main problem, he put too much pressure on himself, feeling like he had to carry more of the load. There were more expectations placed on him because of the trade, and he struggled with it.
Molina to first. Throws a strike to Pujols, and Cunningham is 0 for 2. Yachty just makes this look easy, throwing on the run and off balance just a bit with the runner going down the line.
Just kind of check swing, gets out there. He's so much relaxed, under control, got that shotgun arm. He doesn't have great speed, but he doesn't panic to get out there. He just stays under control, and then he has great confidence in his throwing ability.
On the pregame show, Jim, did I see David Eckstein interviewing Ryan Ludwig?
Yeah, they were pretty loose down there, and I saw Eckstein as we're setting up to interview Ludwig, and he plopped down and started conducting an interview with me, and then with Ryan when he came to the area in which we're doing the setup.
So does he have a chance? Television, radio is in his future? Is that what you're telling us?
Absolutely. I said, with your love of reality TV, would you ever go on a show like Survivor? And he said, absolutely not. He said his wife would like him to give it a shot, but he said no. But as you know, we always talk a little television with David Eckstein, so I had a chance to catch up. He is looking forward to the debut of the new season of Survivor. Jimmy Johnson is going to be in that, and he's excited. And also the finale of Big Brother. I guess it was last night. David didn't get a chance to see it, so someone recorded it for him. He's going to watch it tonight.
2-2. Eckstein has told all of us numerous times he prefers to hit with 2 strikes. He feels that the pressure is off. Here comes a 3-2. And a walk, the second walk by Westbrook.
Survivor was last night, so that was the show David was key on. You know, one of the things I think the Cardinals missed, not having a guy like Eckstein, but what a great bunter he was. We would call so many times where he would lay down even a suicide bunt successfully.
And it's an interesting point you bring up, Jim, because, Al, you look at this team and they, at times, and we talked about it the other night with Lou Brock, they kind of sit back and wait for the big guys to come through, where if you're not scoring runs or the offense isn't generating a lot of activity, one way to do that is to put the ball in play with a bunt, hit and run, stolen bases, all those kind of things.
Most definitely. You can kind of jumpstart an offense. You can kind of get a guy that's slumping to feel better about himself, take the pressure off him, put a hit and run on.
Tejada, first time up, grounded out to third.
Now, part of the problem with hit and run is you have to look at the ability of your hitter to make contact. You don't want to have a guy running if the guy has a propensity to striking out, because then you're going to turn it into a lot of double plays. So you have to have contact guys. You have to have hitters that know the strike zone.
Here's a ground ball to Green. Can they turn 2? Out at second and safe at first. Extends the inning to Gonzalez. That could be a key play. Pujols trying to sell it at first.
Throw a little bit high, and it took a little time for Schumacher to catch that ball. Ideally, you want it a little bit towards the first base side so you could come across that bag chest high and have the momentum behind the throw. Went to the outfield side a bit, then he has to redirect his body, grab the ball, takes a half a step longer in his throwing, and that's the difference with the out call at first.
Gonzalez called out on strikes first time up.
You surprised Tejada's settled in as a shortstop? Because we were under the impression he was done, at least defensively, at shortstop. That's what we were told.
And I know we were told that, but you know, it's called the pennant race. The pennant race rejuvenates you.
How many years do you get? You get 4 or 5 years back?
No, you might get about 3 months. But that's the difference. You know, and you know, Tejada has been a very exciting player, a former MVP in the American League, and to be in a pennant race, all of a sudden you do feel a lot younger. Can't wait to get to the ballpark.
Well, he's always been a high energy guy too.
Yeah. So
anyway,
and I mean, and it's that challenge, so you could prove to other people wrong.
The other thing that we were told too is that when they made the transition to put Tejada at short, one, they were pleasantly surprised by his range. They felt that his range was very good. And the other thing that they mentioned, baseball smarts. They feel that he puts himself with every hitter by studying, knowing what the pitch is going to be, puts himself a step or two in position to get to some balls.
Very, very good point, Dan, because when you're a smart player and you've really been around as long as he has, even though, you know, he's, you know, there's a lot of transition and players change. He's been in the National League. He was there with Houston and everything. So he's got a little feel for a lot of these guys. And you almost have a, you know, additional sense where you see that pitch of what the sign is, and you're a half step quicker just knowing where the ball's going to be hit.
This could be a fun series for Molina because San Diego has 116 steals this year. That's second best in the National League behind the Mets. So we'll see if Bud Black wants to challenge Yachty at times during this 4-game set. This pitch doesn't matter. He's off with it. 3-2.
That's why Pujols is playing behind him.
And it's another walk.
We just saw Yachty pounce on a ball and make the throw. It's remarkable because he's playing on a knee that's swollen and sore. And Tony La Russa was talking about that after the game last night. He knows that Yachty's playing through some pain, but when he's behind the plate and when he's around his catching duties, you don't even notice it.
And that's what's incredible is because look at all the bending. You know, you're in that squatting position. So I remember being around Ted Simmons, we'd be waiting in a line. He'd get down in a catcher's stance. I mean, that was more comfortable for him to kind of squat in civilian clothes, you know, waiting in line rather than standing up or leaning up against the wall. He'd just get down and squat.
Here's a question for you, not to put you on the spot. Ludwig trade happens. A lot of fans didn't like it. How much do you think that made a difference chemistry-wise with this team? If at all.
I think he was a very popular player, but I'm really not going to go out on a limb and say that. You know, I think they realized they were losing a big part of their offense, a scoring threat. But you know, in fairness, I think this club didn't really, you know, that you can't blame that on. Make that as an excuse.
I don't think his trade left a leadership void.
No, definitely not a leadership. He's, you know, he is well respected in that clubhouse, but he led by example on the field. He wasn't one of those vocal guys, and yet he's somebody that they all look to, and they respected his comments and thoughts. But
2-2 is hit to Tyler Green. He's been busy. Over to Pujols, and the Padres' first 3 innings have stranded 5. 1-0 Redbirds. Do. Jim Hayes, Al Rabaski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Bottom of the 3rd. And since Ryan Ludwig has left, the big difference, the team record. That is a huge difference.
And Dan, that's 40 games, but if you go to the last 30, it's 9-21.
Essentially since the sweep of Cincinnati. Here's Tyler Green, swing and a miss. And Jim, you wanted to talk about Tony's reaction to the trade, and of course he talked about it earlier tonight.
Yeah, you know, there was reports of a blow up between La Russa and Ludwig just prior to the trade. And I asked both those guys about their relationship, and Ludwig, to his credit, says he credits Tony La Russa for getting him on track as a big league player. He said that wouldn't happen without Tony. He says they're fine. He wanted to play. He's never shied away from that. But he said the relationship is fine. In fact, while Ludwig was being interviewed, Tony walked by, blew him a kiss. And from his standpoint, Tony believes that Ludwig is an absolute pro and says they have a great relationship. And it was one of the toughest things he's had to do this year was trade Ludwig away.
Yeah, and Ryan was talking about how St. Louis finally gave him that legitimate shot in the big leagues. And give a lot of credit to John Mozeliak. He was the one that brought him to St. Louis. Remember, Ryan was in the minor leagues. And then he finally got a call-up at the very end of that season in 07. And he said the one thing he learned about that call-up was that I can compete at this level and not just compete just to hang around, but I can be an everyday player. Following year he was, and he goes to the All-Star game. Strikeout of Green.
He wasn't a surprise to folks that followed his minor league career. Ludwig posted great numbers in the minors, but he would run into injury after injury and some very serious ones.
And then last year in 06, he was playing AAA for Detroit and hit 28 home runs. That's what, Mo knew about him, probably from an amateur draft standpoint, followed him, knew about him, saw those numbers, and he's the one that brought him in as a AAA free agent, as the assistant general manager at that time. And I even said tonight to him, I said, well, Mo really did you a favor. And he said, absolutely. I loved St. Louis, but I could not thank him enough for sending me where he sent me.
Al, he was ready to sign and go overseas to Japan just to try to get a payday before he felt his career would be over.
Sure. And, it's a good lesson for a lot of kids. Don't let somebody tell you can't play. You just keep on persevering, go out there and battle, believe in yourself, and eventually good things will happen if you're, a good person like Letty, got the opportunity and took advantage of it. David Eckstein, another example of that. Is always told you're too small, you're not, you don't have any power, you don't have the great speed, you're just a hustler.
You watch too much TV.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't ask him about the Bachelor Pad. That'd be a little bit too risque for Eckstein.
I've never seen that show.
Oh,
I just rattled off the shows that he listed.
It's awesome. It's a takeoff of Bachelor and Bachelorette.
2-2. Off of Stauffer. Takes a hit away from Schumacher. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at Cardinals.com. Jerseys, collectibles, and more at Cardinals.com. Jim, we saw, as we see a pitcher maybe hurt here, we saw that Chris Carpenter was hurt in the ballgame last night. And at the time, of course, we didn't know. We thought, well, it could be an elbow or shoulder. He came right out of the game, but that wasn't the case. He just had some cramping, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it came on suddenly. His leg just locked up. And it was a hamstring, thigh area, and he said that he's fine today. And, watching what happened last night, you got the impression it might be something more serious than a cramp. And he said a cramp was all it was, and he was walking around fine today.
He took batting practice. He did everything. So thank goodness that's all it was, and don't anticipate him missing any time. I think Stauffer's going to be fine. It did catch him maybe on the back of the knee. He'll take a throw, make sure all of his mechanics are there. You don't want to alter, favoring a leg and alter your motion a little bit to the point where you hurt your arm. He's already had that shoulder surgery. He didn't want any more.
Well, another thing about the Padres, they have a Star Wars theme going this season. They believe the Force is with them based on the fact that David Eckstein's wife, who, as you know, is an actress, plays the voice in a cartoon of a Jedi trainee in Star Wars, the Clone Wars on the Cartoon Network, and she loads them up with all this Star Wars stuff, so it's all over the clubhouse. And they say the Force is with them.
Well, they are one of the great stories this year in baseball, no doubt. No one anticipated San Diego being in this position. Again, it hits him. Jay hustling, and a base hit, his second hit tonight. Let's see if they check on him again.
Now, this one might be a little more severe. He bounced off there. This one might have got shin. or the other one was the back of the leg, more meat or flesh area. But this one you can see just a slight limp as I think he got him a little bit square on the shin, right below the knee, maybe.
The side of the knee.
He goes over there to get the ball. Gonzalez can't pick it up, and John Jay gets another hit.
Goodness. So back-to-back, Schumacher, Jay, they hit the pitcher, and it extends the inning to Pujols.
That's worth the trainer's visit. That shot, wasn't it?
Nah. He says he's fine.
Let me tell you something, boys. The pitchers are the men on the diamond.
Here we go.
No, they're the only ones that have an elevated platform. They're the kings. Nothing happens in a baseball game until the pitcher, the number one person, decides to throw a pitch.
Never forget visiting with Garrett Stevenson, among my many memorable visits. And Garrett said, nothing happens until I throw that baseball. Nothing. We saw that Pujols, remember he hit Chris Young a couple years ago on the face, the forehead, and Young will pitch in this series.
Yeah, I was going to say, the little guys can hit you in the body parts and you stay in it. But when you get Albert or Holiday hit you, look out, because you might be carted off. Garrett, another one of my successful clientele on the couch.
You want to claim it? Go ahead. 2 outs, a runner at first, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last night you said you helped out Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah, I was his.
Telling us about Garrett.
When he went to anger management courses, I was his guru.
Here's a 1-2 instead of check on John Jay.
Al Roboski, therapist.
Got a lot of experience in that area.
I'm just going to focus on Pujols right now because there's so many things you could say. And Albert reaches for it, pops it up. Eckstein out. Makes the catch in front of Ludwig. Cardinals strand their second runner. It's 1-0 after 3. And there's a base hit as we start playing here in the 4th for Headley, a switch hitter. And he is 2 for 2, and it brings in Torey Alba. Torey Alba reached on an error first time up.
Set up inside, the ball a little bit out over the middle, inside out stroke out there for his second hit. The only 2 hits the Padres have tonight.
So Headley 2 for 2, and it brings in Torey Alba. that pitch is taken a little bit low.
Got a guy like Westbrook who has that ability to get a lot of ground balls. It's not so important if he gives up hits here and there, because he always has that ability to get another one to turn to.
And a check on the runner at first.
What is important when you have a running team like the Padres is for that pitcher not necessarily to pick anybody off, but to keep him close. And if you give Yachty a chance, he'll nail the runner trying to steal.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. There's a line drive into left center, and Colby makes the catch on the run. Wasn't sure he was going to get there. He does and makes a nice play.
It's like right before he got the ball, he's almost stumbling, but closed the gap, makes the play. Just Torrealba kind of hit it on the fist a little bit, didn't get it out on the sweet part of the bat.
So 1 out and a runner at first. And it brings in Will Venable, who walked the eighth place hitter. They really pitched around him his last time up.
In fact, he's top getting over his legs there a little bit, almost stumbling, but holds on. Headley has 17 steals.
One out and a runner at first. And with Westbrook, as we've seen before, he can get a lot of ground balls and potentially get that double play and get out of the inning. 6 ground ball outs tonight.
A little surprising that his pitch count is already up into the mid-50s after throwing, what, 4 in the first inning?
4 in the first, and that's a base hit into right. Here in the 4th, he's not fooling many, is he? Another hard hit ball, and Venable is on base for the second time. And we talked about it in the Chicago series. Those 3 nights, it was 7, 8, and 9 that really did damage against the Cardinals. And you look at 7, 8, 9 tonight. If you want to add 6, 7, 8, 9. Been on base 5 times.
Yeah, and mislocation there. Yachty wanted that ball down. He's a low ball hitter. Got it more in the middle of the plate. And so it becomes a more hittable pitch, pulls it through the right side.
Now the pitcher is up. Now let's talk about how they want to play this.
Well, the Cardinals are very aggressive. You know, Albert charges very well. There you see the inning, or the pitches per inning. Now, the quarterback in the infield is usually a third baseman. He will relay the bunt signs. He'll relay to everybody in the infield and verbally communicate with the pitcher. Why, I don't know. Maybe get him off the throw. But you want to bunt it hard enough to get it by the pitcher, make the third baseman field it.
Strike 2. Cardinals, I'm going to say it's a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now the Cardinals defensively, they are trying to get the lead runner. So, you have variations of it to where Brendan Ryan, the shortstop, most of the time will be breaking to third in case that ball is either hit to Albert, the pitcher, or the third baseman, where they can get the lead runner at third with Brendan Ryan playing there. Or there's another variation where you'll use a pickoff trying to get him out at second. Step off there, after you Lynn Hoffman talk to the pitcher. Maybe they're going to switch off a little bit, step off. Maybe the pitcher will give away what his strategy is.
1-1 pitch. Bunted foul, 1-2. See Brendan Ryan trying to keep that runner at second.
Yeah, shortstop, in this case Brendan Ryan, he will shadow right behind. He will get right on top of the runner. Many times he'll get so close where he'll break to second, try to get that runner to go back to second base, but it's just one step that way, and then he goes breaking to third so he can beat the runner and get the force out at third base, the lead runner.
The 1-2 did not offer at it. 2-2. Makes it a very tough play then for both Pujols if he would field it, and for Brendan Ryan to potentially beat that runner, and Pujols trying to lead Ryan to get to third base.
We know how much confidence Pujols has in his throwing ability, and You know, you just throw it right over the bag, and it's the responsibility of Brendan to get there.
3-2.
Now you can't walk him. He's 3-2 now, so you should get a real hittable pitch. Stauffer really doesn't have the pedigree or the history here now, thinking it's going to be pretty much a groove pitch that you could take off the bunt and let him swing away. Butcher boy it. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
Strikeout. Third of the night for Jake Westbrook. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 6th with the Division Series on TBS.
This is Cunningham's 24th start. He had 338 in his first 23, and what a start to his Padres career. Talk about first bat home run. What's better than that?
Grand slam.
That's what he did in his first at bat.
Two balls and no strikes, and now Westbrook falling behind these hitters an awful lot last inning and again here in this fourth.
Having a little trouble. Recent start falling behind.
A broken bat. Jake has it. Underhands to Pujols. Cardinals have Holiday, Rasmus Molina coming up in their half of the fourth. St. Louis on top. Tonight to see that tip of the cap by Ryan Ludwig to the crowd and his former teammates. Standing ovation. And here is Holiday, who has the only RBI tonight. And for Holiday, he's closing in on the century mark. That's number 95. The Padres, 4 innings already. They've stranded 7.
I know they're offensively, you know, they struggle at times, but they've had their opportunities, just couldn't come through. And reminiscent of the Cardinals in the Chicago series.
Holiday, another base hit into center. Well, they're playing deep for him. We turn to our This Date in Baseball History. Brought to you by the good folks at Schnucks. Cardinals move into first place to stay with a Sweep of a doubleheader over the Pirates. Cardinals take game 1 8-4, nightcap 3-1. September 16th of 1985. Our Schnooks this date in baseball history. And that would prove to be a championship year for the Cardinals, but eventually losing in the World Series, but a NL championship in 85. A fun year of Cardinals baseball that was.
No doubt about it. The ending wasn't too fun, but you got there. Cardinals in the National League champions.
Vince Coleman and Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, Terry Pendleton, Jack Clark. So many great moments. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Rasmus first time up, grounded out to second, 0 for 1. 273 average, 22 home runs. He's driven in 62. Pulls it foul.
Slider coming in on him, but you can see how a lot of National League clubs have been paying attention. They've scouted well against Colby. Colby hit his few more home runs recently. He's up to 22 now. He's really trying to pull the ball, see how deep they are. They're shading him to pull, and most clubs are pitching him away. They're going to come in, keep him honest so they can get him out of the way.
You have to wonder, Al, in their meetings today and coming into the series, how much Ryan Ludwig has been a help to the Padres coaching staff and his teammates about where to play, how to pitch certain guys. You would think he'd have a voice in some of that.
You know, you'd be surprised or shocked if they didn't use that wealth of knowledge. And
they're playing really deep in center. That's Venable, their center fielder.
And that's kind of surprising a little bit. Maybe it's a byproduct too, because you know how big their ballpark is. The ball doesn't travel as well in the nighttime and the California air, so you would think if anything they'd pull in a little bit.
Colby bounces it to first, out there. Now Holiday in a rundown. Tejada to Gonzalez, and Eckstein tags him out. Kids Club members, due to the game time change this Saturday, gates will open for the Kids Club Fiesta at 9:30 in the morning that day. Still time to sign up for the club and take advantage of this great autograph party at Busch Stadium on the 18th. That's this weekend. 9:30 will be the Kids Club Fiesta, and you can find out more or sign up. Visit Cardinals.com/Kids Club. Here's Molina with 2 outs. And Yachty was the spokesman this year for the Cardinals Crew Kids Club.
That's a great promotion.
You talk to the players, they get a bigger kick out of it than some of the kids.
I mean, it's a real bargain, because you get a lot of neat little special items that they prepare for the club, but you get a lot of ticket specials to where you can really discount it greatly. And then you had that big luncheon with Yachty and a bunch of his teammates. So it's pretty a pretty special deal for these kids.
This year they had a book bag that looked like a chest protector.
Yeah.
With Molina on the front. Did a really nice job with it. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs and nobody on. Yachty grounded out to David Eckstein, first time up.
That's how they pitch him, to hit to the opposite field. That's how we would describe it. Big
This would be
left center.
Now probably one of those guys where if you're Ryan Ludwig, paying extra special attention to Molina as much as he goes to right, and Ludwig is in a few steps in right field.
Early in the season when Ryan was playing here, we thought he was a real candidate for rookie for Gold Glove.
Gonzalez takes it himself, and we have played 4 here at Busch Stadium. 1-0, Cardinals on top. With the St. Louis Rams, it's Rams All Access. This week, we profile Danny Amendola, meet Jason Brown's dog, and a preview of Sunday's game at Oakland. Catch Rams All Access tomorrow at 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. 1-0 Cardinals. Top of the 5th rolls in here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 2, 3, and 4 for San Diego. Eckstein, Tejada, and Gonzalez. David walked his first time up. Westbrook has walked 3. And he has struck out 3. Eckstein also grounded out to third. Shoots it into right. Base hit. Boy, how many times did we see that in the 3 years he was in St. Louis?
No doubt about it. And it just, you try to defense it, but it always going to fall in front of the fielder and over the head of the infielder. No, he doesn't try to do too much. You know, sometimes you get a guy like David who could pull the ball inside out the ball. You throw it down the middle and try and confuse him. You know, which batting stroke do I take?
And now Tejada, 0 for 2. Twice he has grounded out to third.
You mentioned it, Dan. They're just flirting with dangers. Westbrook with the walks, only 4 base hits, equal to the Cardinals, but they've already stranded 7 through the first 4 innings. And a good start again this inning.
69 pitches now, and that's popped up.
Good
Molina pitch. Near the screen and makes the catch. A basket catch by Molina for the first out.
Good pitch right there. Jams a dangerous hitter. First Tejada and Westbrook, I'm sure, have had many battles in the American League. This gets in on him right above the hands, popping him up. And the 2-time Gold Glove winner makes it look easy.
Adrian Gonzalez is the team's MVP for the 3rd year in a row a season ago. And playing in that big, spacious ballpark, he's still knocking out home runs. He had 40 last year. Grounds it to Pujols. Eckstein in a rundown. Albert flips it to Brendan Ryan. Double play. Midway through 5, Cardinals on top. The Cardinals top 5 in wins among starting pitchers in 1985. Our theme is 85 tonight. Tudor, remember, he got off to the tough start. Winds up with 21 wins, along with Andujar, Danny Cox 18-9, Kurt Kepchar 10-9, and then Bob Forsch 9-6.
John Tudor was 1-7 at one point. Ended up 21-8. I remember at one point in the season, I asked Whitey, and I said, Whitey, you may think I'm crazy. We're in Chicago, and Andujar had 120.
Here's a ground ball, slowly hit to Tejada, hurries up, and got him. Brendan Ryan retired.
But he had a tough time, but 4 or 5 starts. He failed to win number 21, and I said, Whitey, you may think I'm crazy, but have you thought about taking Andujar out of the starting rotation? And he kind of dismissed, didn't really answer at that time. Later on during batting practice, to stand by the cage, and you see the throw come over and how close it is. He said, you know, I thought about it, but one of the other starters was really struggling. He goes, I can replace one of them, but I can't replace both of them. And let him stay in there, and he eventually won his 21st, and a big year for Andujar. But Tudor was just the sensational pitcher that year.
We talk about the competitiveness of Chris Carpenter. How about the competitive nature of John Tudor?
You sound like you've played cards with him or anything.
I've just been around him a few times.
If you're flipping bottle caps, look out.
But that's what makes guys at this level the elite of the elite.
Sure.
Westbrook retired for round number 2.
I've always said, and David Eckstein's a great example of it, that when you get to the major leagues, there's not a great deal difference in physical ability. Sure, there are, the exceptions that have just so much talent, they're head and shoulders above others. But the real true difference between a good player and a superstar is the mental approach and how they, if they get 2 hits, they're going to grind it out for 3 or 4. Where the other guy's just kind of content. I've had a good night. The competitive nature. That's what separates the real superstars from others. It's not so much physical ability. It's just how they concentration and intensity.
And how about when you get to this point in the season and the mental grind that it takes to play this game is so hard day in and day out, but all of a sudden you're getting to that end of the 6th month. It just wears you out. Some guys can't handle that.
Well, what you really don't, it's hard to explain. But right now, that is a factor that's creeping into the Cardinals. But for San Diego, it's the opposite. Every single day, they can't wait to get to the ballpark because they're in a pennant race.
And a called 3rd strike on Tyler Green. Strikes out for the 2nd time to go along with his error, which was back in the 2nd. 1-0 Cardinals. tonight. And let's go pitch by pitch. Presented by Chevrolet. This is from earlier.
You know, he's got a live bat. Looks like a sinker inside on him. Then a slider out away from him. Back inside with that sinker. Down the one, down the way. Looking for that ground ball, and finally he gets it.
Ludwig, if you're just joining us, had a standing ovation prior to his first at bat. Tipped his cap to the crowd and to his former teammates at Tony La Russa. Standing ovation. And tonight he's 0 for 2. He's popped out to second. Also grounded out to third with 2 runners on.
And I know you were quite busy with the blogs, but I went down there and I thanked him on behalf of both of us. He was such a class act, and the way he handled himself and cooperated with us. You know, he's one of our favorites, and I made sure to thank him and, you know, just say, you know, we're always going to pull for a guy like this.
And you say that the blogs, they interviewed myself and you. And they went down and saw the guys in the truck and doing a story on hardworking men and women of our crew. But Ryan Ludwig, class act all the way. 3-2 the count. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Tying run is on here in the top of the 6th. What's on tap? Presented by Bud Light. Back at it again tomorrow. Matt Latos, 14-6.
A good ERA.
Kyle Loesch, 3-7, coming off a win against Atlanta on Sunday. Budweiser, what's on tap? Latos has just been spectacular for San Diego. And this is well hit out to deep right. Jay is back with room to make the catch. First time that Chase Headley, the switch hitter, has been retired. And it brings in Torey Alba. Torey Alba has reached on an air and also flied out to center. Let's see if the Cardinals can't turn another double play. Visit Bush Bash prior to our ball game tomorrow night. It's out at the Ford Plaza. And Whitey Herzog signing autographs. Specific details and future player appearances can be found at cardinals.com/promotions. But Whitey Herzog out there tomorrow, so get here early.
And he has his golf tournament coming up on Monday. The big dinner, and you know, on Sunday night, I think out at Forest Hills. So
1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With Monday now, was a scheduled off day. We will be having that makeup game in Florida. So a lot of us won't be able to participate in Whitey's golf tournament, but I'm sure you could find details. I don't know how, but you can find details. Whitey Herzog, you know, Youth Foundation.
1-1 pitch, blowing away. That's a heck of a promo you just did.
I know, I just off the top of my head.
You can find details, but
where, how, I don't know.
Good luck.
Go find a blog.
2 balls and a strike here on Torey Alba. Bud Black, former pitcher. You don't see a lot of former pitchers that turn out to be managers, do you?
Not many.
I think it'd be interesting to see his views, or at least hear his views on what he sees from his pitching coach. Do they differ from what he believes? Do you get out of the way of that pitching coach? Let him do what he wants to do?
Well, you got to remember, he was a very, very successful pitching coach. But when he was a pitching coach for Socia and the Angels, you know, a lot of people said he's a, you know, prime candidate to be a manager. And you have to say he's done a very good job.
Count is full again. We've seen a lot of full counts. 82 pitches tonight.
He has some very you know, good instructors on his coaching staff. A lot of guys that are minor league managers.
They didn't start the runner. Out at second, wide throw by Green to Schumacher. No chance to get the double play. Of the division leaders, San Diego has done it with their pitching. This team does not score as many runs as the other division leaders in baseball at 4.26, which is 20th in Major League Baseball. But they can pitch. They have a very good closer at the back end of games in Heath Bell.
But you know what? Because they can pitch and they don't score a lot of runs, but they have a significant differential in runs scored. Padres have scored 615 runs, and with tonight's 1-0 score, they have only allowed 487. So if you can pitch and they do play very good defense, you don't have to score a lot of runs. But obviously they're going to be involved in a lot of low-run games.
Bud Black took over after 12 years of Bruce Bochy. And a very successful run with the Padres, now with San Francisco. Race in the West, about the only one that really has major significance, because you figure with Tampa Bay and the Yankees going back and forth, one of those teams will be the wild card.
And the Cardinals are going to be right in the middle of it.
Colorado, they've got them still left.
Well, we finished the last 4 games of the season with Colorado here in St. Louis, while the Padres are playing the final weekend in San Francisco.
1-2 the count with 2 down. Talk about the integrity of the game. You know, you want to see young players play if you're out of the race, but if you have a chance to make a difference and you're Tony La Russa, what do? Molina puts it away. Westbrook is through 6, and it's not allowed to run. Every time the Cardinals win, the next day get a free buffet with a purchase of 1 at the kitchen at Lumiere Place. Visit My Choice for details. And by Taco Bell, open 2 a.m. or later. Nice crowd on hand. Beautiful weather here in mid-September. Season is coming to a close in a couple of weeks. The Cardinals trying to play spoiler. Here is Skip Schumacher, followed by Jay and Pujols. Difference in this game. Back in the first, a 2-out RBI base hit by Holiday, his 95th RBI to bring in John Jay, and that's all the scoring.
And Dan, that's really the only opportunity the Cardinals have had, a 2-out base hit by Holiday, and Stauffer really has handcuffed them ever since. An infield single and a ball hit off him. by John Jay. Then Holiday got another base hit, raced in a double play. Or an old-fashioned pitching duel. We didn't expect them to score much. And of course the Cardinals have been having their trouble scoring also.
Two 2-0 the count. 3-0. Schumacher is grounded to first and also hit a screamer off the leg of the pitcher Stauffer, and he was thrown out. 3-0. He walked him on 4 straight. Speaking of going up the middle, Matt Holliday bringing in John Jay. Tried to kick that first one. This one gets him. And then right after that, this one gets him. Back-to-back shots.
John Jay's been a thorn in Stauffer's side. He's 2 for 2. Scored the lone run of this ball game.
Jay bunting. It's a beauty. Stauffer off balance. Can't make a throw. 2-1 for Pujols. Base hit for John Jay. And he's 3 for 3.
Couldn't have placed that ball any more perfectly. Stauffer does the right thing. Don't try and make a miraculous throw and probably throw it away. So he gets over and fields it, but thought about throwing, and throwing off balance like that, probably would have thrown it away. John just puts that head down, running, hustling down the line.
Quiet night so far for Pujols. He is flied out to center and popped out to second. And he's about due for number 40.
You know, Albert had a cortisone shot in his left elbow after Monday night's game, missed Tuesday, and just trying to get back in the swing of things.
And he lines it into right center field. Ludwig coming on. Can't make the catch. Ball gets away. Schumacher being waved in. He will score. A double for Pujols to make it 2-0. RBI number 105 for Albert.
We have seen Ryan Ludwig dive for so many balls. This is the first one I can think of in a long time that he doesn't keep right in front of him. Tries to give you that tremendous effort, dives for the ball out here, and because it's out in right center, he deflects it away from his center fielder who is backing up the play. That allowed Albert to get to second base and drive in another run, 105.
Holiday up, he's 2 for 2. First base is open. You mentioned it, Al. Do you want to pitch to either Pujols or Holiday? And the answer here is no. They'll walk the bases loaded with nobody out, what could turn into a huge inning. Remember, ball game last night, the Cardinals had the bases loaded, nobody out, could not score. They had the bases loaded 3 different times and could not put together a crooked number. This season, easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub. The official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. You'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season. Just head to StubHub.com. Choose your seats today. Pitching change here in the 6th with nobody out. 36%. Opening day is always very popular. It's like a holiday here in St. Louis. I think it's 35%. 3 weekend series against the Cubs at Busch, 29%. We appreciate all the votes. Joe Thatcher, a lefty, is in. He's had a tremendous season. 1-0, 1.38 ERA. His last 32 outings, that ERA is even better at .59. And many times, Bud Black in our Chevy call to the bullpen uses him just to face one batter. Face one batter in 27 of his 56 outings, and that may be the case here with Colby up.
No doubt about it. It will be, as they got a pair of right-handers warming up now. But Thatcher actually has better numbers against a right-hander, which is hard for a sweeping sidearmer, and almost he slipped on the mound.
Inning started with a walk by the starter Stauffer to Schumacher. Bunt base hit by John Jay. Pujols the double to make it 2-0. And Holiday the intentional walk. The bases are loaded.
Not a treat for righties or lefties facing Thatcher. Lefties 206, right-handers 154.
He throws that slider for a strike many times.
And this is a real prime example we talk about with Colby Rasmus. Really has to hold that front shoulder in, try to drive the ball. You know, right now you're looking at a sacrifice fly or more.
You see why this move would make sense. You're getting a potential strikeout of Rasmus and then potential double play off the bat of Molina.
I think Thatcher stepped off there when he saw the ball was coming inside. Now they want to go away. That's where you should be going to Colby. As Colby's kind of in a pull mode right now, rolling over a lot of pitches, hitting him the right side. You make a mistake down and into him, he can hit the ball and hit it out of the ballpark. But right now he can be pitched too. He will get better as a hitter.
2-2.
Torrealba saying, hey, you can't get it so far out there where he won't offer at it. Infield playing in. Padres know runs are going to be a premium. They're already trailing 2-0.
On the outside corner. May have been a little bit low, may have been outside, doesn't matter. It's a strikeout of Colby.
But that is where Colby's got to guard against that outside pitch, because that's what they're going to try and do. You know, it's a pitcher's pitch. 2 strikes, you got to protect the plate. Look out, well, you look out far, but remember Gonzalez got rung up on a similar pitch in the first inning.
Huge strikeout for Thatcher and the Padres. They get the first out, bases loaded, 1 out. Molina coming up, and they'll go to a right-hander when we come back. We'll tell you about the change when we return. It's 2-0 St. Louis. 2.98 ERA in 24 outings at home in our Chevy call to the bullpen, but on the road, 22 games. An ERA that's close to 5. It all adds up to 46 games. Overall, 2.87. And Webb will face Yadier Molina in one of the biggest at-bats of the night. Bases loaded and 1 out. Remember the Cardinals about 4 months ago were in San Diego. Back on May 25th, San Diego won that game 1-0. Solo home run to Scott Hairston was the difference. Wainwright's one bad pitch in that game. San Diego would win it 13-2-1. Ryan Ludwig had the RBI single, and then the following game it was P.J. Walters earning his first major league win, 8-3 St. Louis, as they earned 1 win in that series.
That was a pretty good series for Hairston. I think he hit a couple.
2 big home runs.
Yeah.
That's just this year, the 2 grand slams for Yadier Molina. Remember, he had one on opening day.
Both his grand slams this year have been on the road. One of 3 players that have done that this season. So right now they're hoping for a ground ball that they can turn to. They'll have their middle infielders back for a conventional double play. Remember, they can also go home to first. And Yadi's looking to lift the ball and get a sac fly at the least.
Strike 1. Molina tonight has grounded out to second, also grounded out to first. Strike 2.
Webb's got a power arm. He's 24 years of age, 6'6", 214. Resides in Palm Harbor. That's right around the Cardinals' spring training Jupiter's site. Or is Palm Harbor closer to St. Petersburg? That's Palm Harbor. Yeah, the old spring training site.
Spoiled by Molina.
Webb was required from the Athletics in the trade, sending Scott Hairston to Oakland on July 15th. Made his major league debut with San Diego, pitching 28 games out of the bullpen. And Jerry Hairston is the hero earlier this season, riding the bench tonight.
Time granted for Yadier Molina.
You know, Yadi has 55 RBIs on the season, and 20 of those 55 have come in bases loaded situations, including the 2 grand slams.
Bases loaded and an 0-2 pitch again to Molina. Spoiled, and watch out. Lined into the seats. This right-hander is throwing hard.
Big kid. He's got that downward tilt if he wants it, but throws a little bit sidearm.
Molina with a fly ball into shallow right. This may drop. It does. Fair ball. 2 runs to score. Pujols read it perfectly.
Wasn't pretty, but real effective. And if you're the runner out of second base, set up outside, misses location, just a little jam shot, floats it inside out there. And if you're Albert Pujols out at second base, you get a great read on this. You can see that no one's going to be near it, and that's why he got the tremendous jump and was able to score from second base.
RBIs 56 and 57 for Yadier Molina. Brendan Ryan now. Twice he is grounded out to short. Cardinals actually giving Westbrook some run support here tonight, which has not always been the case since he arrived in St. Louis. 4-0 lead.
And he's got, Westbrook has 4 runs tonight, right? If he would have received 4 runs in each of his first 8 starts with the Cardinals, he'd be 7-0 with 1 no decision.
That's why we say he has pitched better than that record indicates.
And because no run support, he only has 1 win.
It's a foul ball on a 96-mile-an-hour pitch. It's good to see that has been reversed from what we saw in the Chicago series. Cardinals 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
Well, there's one thing that is not reversed. The Cardinals' trend of playing very good baseball, almost 600 baseball against teams over 500, but under 500 on teams below 500. How do you explain that?
Yeah. No balls and a strike here on Brendan Ryan. 0-2. Now from August 26th to September 5th, the Cardinals went from 3.5 behind the Reds to 7. Meanwhile, the Padres went on a 10-game losing streak. They were up by 6.5 over San Francisco, and then just 1 game up after the streak, and that's why they find themselves now in a tight pennant race with San Francisco and Colorado. But a 10-game losing streak.
Right, half game over Giants and 2.5 over Colorado. But a lot of people believe when you go through a 10-game losing streak and you don't lose the lead, you're destined to go on and win.
Strikeout of Ryan. Well, this time last year they were 65 and 80, and they come in having just reversed that, 82 and 63. Here's Westbrook.
It's almost incredible to think about, but right now the Cardinals got to worry about having a 500-plus season.
At one point, 16 games above 500.
Exactly.
Westbrook is grounded out twice to third. Talked about the pitching that San Diego has. It's been very good all year long. Well, Padres have seen very good pitching from the Cardinals. 3.5 games so far. Adam Wainwright, Jaime Garcia, P.J. Walters, and now tonight, Westbrook.
And their Cardinals are trying to even the season series at 2 apiece. San Diego has lost 9 straight games here in St. Louis.
0-2 the count.
And of course, recently the Padres would be terrified if they faced St. Louis in postseason.
Yeah. Cardinals have dominated Padres in postseason play. Westbrook pops it up and out of play. And a strikeout. And that would score 2 runs, part of a 3-run inning for St. Louis. And it also provides us with our Hardy's prime cut of the game. Fights it off, 2-strike pitch, and picks up the base hit. You mentioned it, Al, that Pujols, the runner at second, picked it up perfectly, scored, and the Cardinals have a 4-run lead. We're in the 7th, and the Cardinals also have a new third baseman, Pedro Feliz. With the lead, they'll go with defense, and that's Feliz. Tough night, too, for Tyler Green. This is the speedster we saw in San Diego back in late May. Luis Durango. This guy can fly. Close the book on Stauffer, the starter for the Padres. 5+, 6 hits, 4 runs, all were earned. 2 walks, one of those was intentional, and he strikes out 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Hey, I got a surprise for you about Durango. As you watch out, Feliz way in on the grass. He was recalled on September the 7th from AAA. Of his 9 major league hits, would you believe they're infield hits?
Here we go. Westbrook to first. Slipping. And out at first. We saw 3 players slip last night. And this time it's Westbrook. Good pick by Pujols for the first out.
He's not a big guy. He can fly. Westbrook gets over there. His right foot goes out from underneath him. Still executes the throw. Sends a sinker over there, but Albert, with those real soft hands, scoops one up. Former Gold Glove winner, and maybe in line for his second. He's got more range than any first baseman. He's so aggressive the way he pursues the baseball. But he's got a lot of competition if you factor in the offense in the quest for a Gold Glove, which really it shouldn't be, but it is really a major determining factor.
Base hit out to left for Aaron Cunningham. His first hit for the leadoff man of the Padres.
There's a lot of good hitting and fielding first basemen in the National League. Gonzalez is another one.
Gonzalez gets overlooked playing on the West Coast and late games. A lot of times the East Coast media doesn't have a chance to see him and the great years that he's had. Here's David Eckstein.
I thought it was flyover country, that gets left out. As the left and right coast get a lot of attention, and flyover country, the Midwest, nothing happens in the Midwest. Keep on thinking that, and we'll just have our great secret here.
Strike to Eckstein, who is singled back in the 5th, walked in the 3rd, and also grounded out to 3rd. Could be 2. Westbrook, the second, out there to first, double play. The second double play turned by the Redbirds tonight. Time to stretch for Zip St. Louis. bottom of the 7th. It's our Hyundai long drive inning. It's 4-0. Kevin Neese is tonight's merchandise winner. The Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. Cardinals hit a home run. Kevin will qualify for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. That'll be on September 30th to be exact. And to see the all-new Hyundai Sonatas, log on to mystlouishyundaidealers.com.
You got a runner at first base. You always know who's going to be covering at second. He knows it's a shortstop. Little crow hop. Watch him throw right over the bag, just a slight lead. And right there, Brendan Ryan's got momentum coming across the bag, complete the throw. Perfect. Cesar Ramos will come in here. His numbers, again, batting average against, are kind of ugly, as he had one really bad outing, gave up a career-high 7 hits and 7 runs. That was in May. It's his 3rd stint with the ball club, and recalled the final time here in early September. And of late, he's pitched very well, scoreless baseball.
First at bat for Pedro Feliz. Came in the top of the 7th to take over defensive purposes over 3rd for Tyler Green. Green, a tough night. So he had a pair of strikeouts, committed an error back in the 2nd.
And, you know, it's really a shame because Tyler's getting this opportunity since he's been recalled at least 4 starts, couple pinch hit appearances, and he's hasn't got a hit yet in this time. And, you know, the one thing, if you're not getting any hits, you better play good, solid defense. And Pedro, that's one thing he can do, is play deep.
2-1 the count. Underway here in the bottom of the 7th. Base hit for Feliz. He needed that.
Feliz did need that. He had got a hit for a while. He was 0 for his last 13. And in the month of September, Feliz was 4 for 43. Under 100. Ball elevated up there from the lefty, and that's going to be hit. Feliz, I mentioned his numbers aren't really good. Left-handed batters were batting .353 against him. Right-handers, .478. Now it's a cool .500.
There's Schumacher. Walked and scored. Hit one off the pitcher, then was thrown out, showing bunt. Takes a ball, and he's also grounded out to Gonzalez at first. Cardinals picked up a run in the first on an RBI by Holiday. And 3 last inning, highlighted by the bases loaded double from Molina. Two balls and no strikes.
Skip's had a .300 batting average or better the last 3 years. Got off to a horrible start, battled back, almost had the average up to .280. Slipped back down to .270, but he's mentally tough. Withstand some of those early slumps.
And that ball gets away. 3-0 on Schumacher. Feliz in scoring position following the wild pitch.
Just tries to overthrow it way out in front. Poor effort at trying to block that ball.
And a balk is called.
Boy, so
base hit, wild pitch, walk. Feliz now at third base.
It's talking about manufacturing a run, but the wrong way. See, he started to come up. That constitutes the beginning of your windup, and then he stopped for it, so the balk was called. Signed as a supplemental round selection, 35th overall in the 2005 draft. He's from the LA area. And I don't know if Bud Black can wait much longer. He does have another left-hander hitter in John Jay, but Jay's 3 for 3 in the night.
Ramos, fourth pitcher used by San Diego tonight. Started with Stauffer. Thatcher came in, picked up a strikeout of Rasmus. Webb then got the final 2 outs last inning. Ramos has started with a walk and a single. First and third, nobody out. John Jay, 3 for 3.
Dan, Whitey Herzog's dinner and golf is sold out. So the plug will come next year.
For the 2011 Whitey Herzog dinner and auction. We thought there were spots available. That's not the case.
No, they should have known better. Great community here, gets involved with all the charitable endeavors, and Whitey really puts on a heck of an event. Brings in a lot of his former players, and we're all sorry. Some of us are sorry we can't be there. Who's really got the golf bug is Ted Simmons. He's become a very good golfer in a relatively very quick time.
Time call. Pujols on deck. Count of 1 ball, 1 strike on Jay. Ramos really struggling with his control. 2 balls, 1 strike. John Jay, the University of Miami product, as was Chris Perez and a number of players from the teams that he played on that have made it to the major leagues. He's 1 ball away from walking the bases loaded and facing Pujols.
Well, he won't have to worry about it. There is hope for this young man. He is wearing a Rawlings glove.
Three and 2. A strikeout. Comes back to get John Jay. But Black is going to make a move.
Bring in Russell. Warming up, and he gets the tree to face an Albert.
So runners at first and third. Pujols coming up with 1 out and a 4-0 Cardinals lead. Tony La Russa plus Pat Paris and Rick Horton break down the game. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live coming up right after our final out right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Adam Russell, the new pitcher. 14 innings, 16 strikeouts, and a 2.57 ERA.
He is one of 4 players the Padres acquired in the Jake Peavy deal with the White Sox. Big kid, 6'8", 255. He is 27 years of age now, and he gets to face Albert. Albert was 0 for 9 before getting that face hit. Double an RBI his last time up. Runners in scoring position this year. Albert 341, 10 home runs, 68 RBIs.
Pujols with 39 home runs. 5 times in his wonderful career, Pujols has had 40 or more home runs. Trying to make it 6.
He's got 405 home runs, the most ever for the first 10 years of a career. All 10 years he's hit over 300. He's had at least 30 home runs, at least 100 RBIs. Remarkable start. And he's been going on for 10 years.
2-1.
Almost got by Torrealba.
Pujols with an RBI double in the 6th inning to give him 105 RBIs on the season. He's flied to center and also popped out to second. Good rip. 2-2.
Ball just looked like it sat out there for him. Russell actually has had more success against left-handed batters. Left-handed hitters are hitting 111 against him. Right-handers 310.
A 2-2. Got underneath it. Pops it up. Tejada going out. Called off by the left fielder who makes the catch.
Called off last second, but really that left fielder needs to take charge. Norfia really needs to come in. You got a shortstop or an infielder backing up. It's much easier for an outfielder coming in, especially when you got a guy at third that may tag up. He's got his momentum behind him rather than an infielder backpedaling.
So Cunningham made the catch, and now Holiday.
Cunningham. Watch, left fielder take charge. He's looking out there. Now he calls him off. Tejada does the right thing. Get out of the area. Get away from there. But you got your momentum coming forward.
Holiday got things started with an RBI. First time up with 2 outs. His 95th of the year. Also singled in the 4th, intentionally walked in the 6th. Got a lefty getting loose in their pen. Rasmus on deck. And a walk to Holiday on base for the 4th time. Middle of the order has done some damage. It started with Holiday. His RBI in the 1st inning. Scored John Jay. Jay's been on base 3 times. Pujols. Nearly a catch by Ludwig. The ball got away. And Schumacher came in to score. And Now you have Colby Rasmus. Again, they have had a lefty throwing in their bullpen. If Bud Black wanted to go in that direction right here.
Wonk, it looks like, is the lefty. If he's not coming in to face Rasmus, might as well sit down.
Right. Good cut. Change up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wow.
You know, I mean, to left-handed batters, that pitch outside has been called several times. It's hard to force yourself to go swing at a pitch that's several inches outside. Somehow you got to protect it. Kobe's going to continue to see pitches out away from him until he makes the adjustment and starts driving that ball to the opposite field.
And he strikes out. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. It stays a 4-run lead. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Westbrook pitching into the 8th and has been sharp tonight. Just shy of the 100 pitch mark. He's at 95. He'll get Tejada, Gonzalez, and Ludwig.
Trevor Miller warming up.
So 3, 4, and 5. And a breaking ball by Westbrook. What would you say the majority of his pitches, percentage-wise, are sinkers? 60, 65?
I think that's fair.
Backhanded by Pujols. He was playing well off the line. And leads Westbrook for the out.
So we talk about Albert plays so far off the line, has great range, even when he's playing closer to the line, going to his right.
I'd venture to say it might even be above that 65%.
You know, Dan, when I came into baseball, I was taught by George Sylvie, who he's got to be 99, 100 years. I know we celebrate his birthday recently, but George was the farm director at the time, and He told me one time, he said it was his belief you have to throw 70% fastballs just to maintain your velocity. And you rarely see anybody do that in anything today.
You're right.
But if you got a sinker ball, why not? Sinker balls, change ups, throws a few sliders, get ground balls, let them hit the ball.
Big out there, Gonzalez. 2 down. Ludwig in his return to St. Louis with a base hit. Also popped out to second, grounded out to third. Looking ahead to the 9th. The Cardinals, depending what happens here, go with Westbrook. No Ryan Franklin here tonight again.
Well, Ryan excused absence from the ball club. He'll be back this weekend. But I think right now it creates an opportunity for somebody. You know, you got a few guys down there with power arms, audition for the future. So I mean, Tony's always talks about what he has and not what he's missing. You get an opportunity. There's Salas, but when you think of power arms, Salas was a closer at Memphis, but I'm talking about Boggs and Mott. Dougal's a former closer. He wouldn't be the guys I'm thinking of right now. I'm talking about the future, the young kids.
3-2.
There's one of them. Jason Mott, remember, he was semi-anointed the closer last year. At the beginning of the season, opening day, got an opportunity. Didn't work out. And that pretty much from that point created the opportunity for Ryan Franklin. Became an all-star. Has good numbers again this year. Just not as many opportunities. A very high success ratio in save completions. I think there's a little extra adrenaline going between Westbrook and Ludwig. It's a 3-player trade, but these two were traded for each other, and each of them are kind of a game inside the game.
Too short. Brendan Ryan with it. Ludwig retired. Sends us to the 9th. Or rather, bottom of the 8th, and then the 9th possibly with Westbrook. Cardinals on top 4-0. In our game recap presented by Verizon Wireless. Holiday, 4 straight games with an RBI as he closes in on 100. That was in the first. Albert Pujols is 1 for 4. This was almost caught by Ludwig. That got away from him, and Skip came around to score. And the other story that's developed tonight, Jake Westbrook. through 8 innings, 6 hits, and no runs allowed. Westbrook very sharp tonight. Ernesto Frieri takes over. 4-0 St. Louis here in the bottom of the 8th.
Frieri got off to a very good start. Started his career with 10 2/3 scoreless innings, 12 straight scoreless appearances, held the first 18 batters faced in the big leagues hitless. Now he's running to his 28th game, 1-1, 2.10 ERA.
Yadier Molina, big hit in this game. Loop single with the bases loaded that scored 2.
Big cushion right there, wasn't it?
Big. Another move by Bud Black to load the bases with nobody out. It was a strikeout by Rasmus, and then Molina fought off some tough 2-strike pitches. Looped a single down the right field line, and 2 runs came around to score.
Frieri is from Colombia.
Three balls and a strike.
Ron Lewis's mother-in-law, Thelma Karsten, 88 years young today. Watches every Cardinal game. Big fan of yours, Dan.
The 3-1 pitch. And a walk. It's 5 walks the Cardinals have received tonight. Westbrook with 16 ground ball outs tonight.
That's great. You do that, got a good chance you're going to have a very low-scoring game, or in this case, a shutout working. He's only scattered 6 hits. So he's already had 2 double plays turned behind him. Cardinals only 8 hits, but because of those 6 walks, and that's been an aspect, the Cardinals hitters have expanded their zone. They've been chasing pitches out of it and not taking those walks. That's a big part of a winning formula.
Brendan Ryan, 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Falls behind 0-2. $38,252 tonight. 3.8252. And an 0-2 pitch to Brendan Ryan. Blew it right by him. See Matt Latos tomorrow. They've got some young arms, and he's only 22. Leads the majors with a 197 opponent's batting average on the year. Al, he had a record 15 straight starts of allowing 2 runs or less. That is a major league record for the 22-year-old. How about that?
And that's come to an end, right?
Correct.
I know he missed they postponed the start, moved it back a day where he had some flu-like conditions, but that next day he pitched very well. He'll be a handful tomorrow. It'll be a good contest. Kyle Loesch throwing the ball a little better, so hopefully he can shut down this very good ball club, but doesn't have a lot of thump in the lineup. About the time he's being disrespectful for you, they'll jump up and slap you.
Randy Wynn, the pinch hitter. Runner goes, good jump. Molina, stolen base.
Obviously stolen off the pitcher. Torrealba had no chance to even throw. Look at that. Started taking off with the pitcher just standing there on the mound, still with the ball, and just forgot about Yachty over at first base. It's number 8 for Yachty. sometime earlier in this year, Yadier Molina was leading the ball club in steals. You got Wynn pinch hitting for Westbrook, who does an outstanding job, and Kyle McClellan will finish up this one.
Cardinals with over 38,000 here tonight. A little different story in Cincinnati. The other day they had 12,061. First game of series against Arizona. Next day they had 16,973. After that, just over 19,000, and today 22,000. Just hard to believe that with it's a very good baseball town.
Well, or is it? They haven't been in a pennant race since '95, and then they aren't turning out for a really exciting young team. They lost today, so the Cardinals can pick up another game in the standings. San Diego had a half-game lead over Giants. They could be even if the Cardinals hold on.
You could look at it two different ways. They haven't won in a long time, so still trying to maybe earn that trust back of the fans. Or you say, well, you haven't won in a long time. You are winning. Why aren't you coming out?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, when you say it's a good baseball town, you know, is it really? And now let's also be fair. In these economic times, the state of Ohio has been hit hard.
One ball, one strike with 2 outs and a runner at second.
Here he's now going to pay attention to Molina out at second with nobody covering.
One and two.
Talked to John Mozeliak right before the game and talking a little bit of what's happened the last couple of weeks, but he was very positive in the fact that his core, the core of this ball club, will all be coming back. It'll be interesting to see after the evaluations what areas they want to improve upon. You know, first and foremost in my mind is approaching Pujols to try and lock him up long term.
Feliz with a fly ball into right. This sends us to the top of the ninth. 4-0 St. Louis.
the postgame edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris, Rick Horton, Cal Eldred at Lumiere Place. Jake the Snake with another quality start. John Jay versus Luddy. Tonight, John Jay wins the battle, and our crew looks at the art of the rundown. Kyle McClellan on to pitch as we go back to the booth, guys.
4-0 Cardinals. McClellan, be interesting to see what happens with him this offseason. Is he a guy that would stay in the bullpen? He's been very valuable there and had a great year. Or is he better served, depending on what happens at the back end of your rotation, giving him a spot there?
Well, that's why one of the reasons why I didn't mention him is the possibility of it's not a safe situation, but closing this game out is because we can clearly see an opportunity for him to go to spring training competing for that 5th spot again. It'd be the 3rd consecutive year, but it would really quite possibly be the best chance for that to happen. And of all those young relievers down there, he has the most experience out of the bullpen, 3 years here at the big league level, and he has the best makeup and repertoire of pitches to move into the rotation. You got your big 3. They'd be coming back. Jaime be coming back. Kyle Loesch has another year in his contract, so that 5th spot, we pretty much wonder.
In the air out to left. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
People may be wondering, why did I leave out Westbrook after a brilliant outing tonight? Well, Ludwig was going to be too expensive. Westbrook's finishing up a 3-year, $30+ million contract. You would believe that he is going to be too expensive for the Cardinals as you're trying to save money and sign Albert. Of course, Padres feel like there's no way they can keep Gonzalez.
Nasty pitch.
In many ways, Adrian Gonzalez was supposed to be traded this year, but the team and Heath Bell, their closer, and the team kind of said, nope, we're going to be so competitive that at the trade deadline, you're going to have to keep them and add payroll. And that's been the case, but next year they don't know.
Let's turn to our player of the game, presented by Budweiser, Jake Westbrook. Solid outing.
No doubt about it. 8 innings, 6 hits, scattered those. He walked 3. Then most of those were early. Just 3 strikeouts, but he's a ground ball specialist, and the key point, 8 shutout innings. Helped him so cause. Part of 2 double plays there, and a very solid outing. That's one way, if you're not getting a lot of run support, just take it in your own hands and throw a shutout.
Will Venable, the final hope for San Diego.
You remember his dad?
Sure.
Max.
Venable has walked. Picked up a single in the 4th. And popped out. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Tony, 15 years managing the Cardinals. Franchise record. 1,306 wins, soon to be 1,307. 3rd on the Major League Baseball's all-time manager win list. 2,626 as of right now, with 1 strike away from another victory.
3-2 pitch. Into center and a base hit.
1 out away from another victory.
Matt Stairs had a pinch hit home run in Colorado the other night.
been a good ball player, hasn't he? Pinch hit specialist. Lost a lot of weight.
Venable will take second.
Stairs has played for 12 major league clubs, tying an all-time major league record for a non-pitcher. Hit a home run at Seattle. That tied Todd Zeal's major league record for homering for his 11th team. And this year as a pinch hitter, 11 for 46, 3 doubles, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's got 22, the all-time record for pinch hit home runs.
Down to their final strike again. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a foul tip. Molina could not hold on.
Got our home plate umpire in the hand, Ed Rapuano. I might have to go down and visit with the umpires tomorrow. I'll give a critique of Rapuano.
A little bit low, 2-2.
You ever do that, Dan?
No.
You know,
No.
it's, you know, because I got to know a lot of these guys, and very few, you know, that are around that when I played, but right there.
Game over. McClellan gets the strikeout, and the Cardinals hold on for a 4-0 win. Westbrook picks up the victory. Cardinals take game 1. Last pitch to end the ball game. Strikeout for McClellan.
Freezes him. All the starters there together, and I saw Carpenter sprint out there. He actually beat Wainwright out there.